YouTube, it's Zoe or Read by Zoe. It's been so long since I last said that. It's been 2 months since I last said that. If you didn't realize, I was gone for 2 months, and a lot of you actually were tweeting me and talking to me on Instagram and stuff like that, asking me when I would film a video again and where I've been. I will talk about it in an upcoming video, but now we're gonna talk about books. I haven't talked about books for 2 months. Let's talk about the books that I read this summer and September, which technically counts as summer because of the solstice and everything. Whatever, that's my justification. Let's get started. The first 2 books that I read this summer was The Fiery Heart and Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead, book 4 and 5 in the Bloodline series, which is a spin-off of the Vampire Academy series, and it follows a different character who shows up in the last books of Vampire Academy, and Adrian's in it, and it's wonderful. I love this series so much. I really recommend, if you enjoyed the Vampire Academy series, definitely pick up these books because she is so funny and you connect to all of the characters and Adrian, need I say more? No. But I gave The Fiery Heart 4 out of 5 stars. I felt like not much happened and there was just a lot of filler to get to the next book, which is Silver Shadows, but it was still really cute and it made me giggle and it was funny. Silver Shadows, I love. I think the first book, Bloodlines, was my favorite in the series, but this one was still really good. Then I started The Ruby Circle, which is the last book in Bloodlines, but I didn't finish it. I know I have to finish the last book because it's the last book in the series and I read like half of the book. Really didn't like it, which is sad because I really enjoyed the rest of the series. I then read Finding Audria by Sophie Kinsella. She usually writes really cute adult romance books, not like adult, but like contemporary romance, not like romance, you know what I'm talking about. Really cute books, but this was her first young adult romance book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It follows this girl named Audria who has severe anxiety, so severe that she can't really go out of the house and she wears sunglasses all the time to mask herself from the outside world. But then this boy comes into her life and they hit it off, they become friends, and then she gets out of her shell. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I really enjoyed it. Then it was booktubeathon time and I read a lot of books in that 1 week. I'm actually really proud of myself. I also did not exactly daily videos, but I think I did 4 out of the 7 days videos on my channel. I filmed them with my little brother Tyson, and he also participated in booktubeathon and read with me. He's so cute. I'm so happy that a lot of you guys like him too, because I love him, obviously. If you want to watch those videos, I'm going to leave them down below. The first book that I read during booktubeathon was The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I'm not that big of a fan of her writing style. I know a lot of people really enjoy her books, and a lot of you recommended her books to me because you know I like those cheesy contemporary romance books, but her books are a little bit too cheesy for me and I don't connect to the characters at all, unfortunately, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I did think it was cute though, and it was such a quick read, perfect for a readathon where you want to read as fast as you can, but I don't think I'm going to be picking up any more of her books in the near future. The next book that I read during booktubeathon was Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It definitely has a very special place in my heart because I read it in middle school when I was very impressionable, and this book is all about nonconformity and the benefits of being your own person. In middle school, I was definitely a conformist. This made me realize why it's okay to go against the status quo. But when I read it again, 20 years old, it didn't have the same effect. I didn't really connect to it as much, but it still has a very special place in my heart, so I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I then read all 6 volumes of Scott Pilgrim by Bryan Lee O'Malley. I read these so quickly. They are graphic novels, and I watched the movie, which has Michael Cera. Is that who's in it? I think so. He's just so cute. The movie is actually the reason why I picked up these graphic novels in the first place. I haven't read any graphic novels for myself. I have read Mouse for school, but I haven't gone out and picked up any graphic novels for myself, so this was my first experiment and it went very well. This is so funny and I love the art. Some of the characters look a little bit too much alike. I gave the first volume 4.5 out of 5 stars, the second volume 4 out of 5 stars, the third volume 4.5 out of 5 stars, the fourth volume 3.5 out of 5 stars, the fifth volume 3 out of 5 stars, and the last volume, the sixth volume, 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you haven't read any graphic novels before but want to branch out into those books, definitely think about reading these books because they're so easy to read, so funny, and you know, that's what I did. So follow in my footsteps, people. The second to last book that I read during Booktubeathon was Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. This book is set right around the turn of this recent past century, so 1999 to 2000, and half of it is told in email format. These two friends named Beth and Jennifer, they gossip all the time when they're at work via email. I love when books are told in some alternative format, like texting or journal entries or emails. The main character named Lincoln is an internet security officer, so he is monitoring everybody's emails at the workplace, and he ends up reading all of their emails to one another. He falls in love with Beth, and some stuff happens. Also, it's the turn of the century, so a lot of interesting Y2K stuff is happening, which I didn't know what Y2K was before reading this book, so it's educational as well as entertaining. The last book that I read during Booktubeathon was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This is another graphic novel. Right after I finished all of the Scott Pilgrim graphic novels, I went on my phone and texted Raylene over at Padfoot and Prongs and asked her what graphic novels I should pick up because she is such a reader of graphic novels and is so knowledgeable about all graphic novels. She recommended this one, which I am so happy she did because I loved it so much. 5 out of 5 stars. Funny, and the artwork is amazing. There's such a diverse cast of characters and you learn something. There's magic, but also there's some technology. It's a weird setting it's in because it's half medieval, half like high-tech supervillain type thing. It's so interesting, and read it. Read it. Please, all of you, go out and read it. Sorry that I screamed, but I'm very passionate about this book. Then in August, I read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Of course, it's one of my favorite books of all time. I love it so much, and how beautiful is this illustrated edition? Look at that! This is such a wonderful book, and I'm so happy that I got to read it again with pictures, because I'm an adult. This is also the first book of the month for my Ostentatious Book Club, where we read a Jane Austen book every single month. This was August's book, and I'm so happy that it seemed like all of you who read it with me really enjoyed it as well. And a lot of you were reading it for the first time, so I introduced you all to the best book ever. Thank you all for reading it with me. And Ostentatious Book Club is still happening, so you all can still join the most awesome book club ever. Am I right? By the way, the September book of the month was Persuasion, and we are going to have our live show about it after Natasha comes back from her trip and Maureen comes back after her trip, and we are all at our computers at the same time. So it's going to be in the next week or two. Keep an eye out for that. And since it's October, the October book of the month is Northanger Abbey, which is kind of a spooky, scary type book-ish. You'll see it when you read it. Also this month we are going to have our 2 ostentatious movie nights. We are going to watch Lost in Austin, and we are also going to watch the Northanger Abbey movie. I'm going to leave down below more details about Ostentatious and the movie nights if you are interested. They are so much fun. After that tangent, let's get back to the books that I read this summer. I read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for the billionth time. A lot of people on Goodreads were asking me, have you read this before? Are you reading this for the first time? Of course! I have read it before. Who do you think I am? I don't know why, but I got this sudden need to reread all of the books again, and when you have that feeling, you gotta follow it. You gotta do it, because what else are you gonna do? Not read the Harry Potter books? No! I then read Everything by Nicola Yoon. I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it far more than I thought I would. I don't know why I went into it with such low expectations, but I did, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did think it was kind of cheesy at first. It's about this girl who has a really rare disease that makes her allergic to everything. So she has to stay inside her sterilized environment at home. Obviously, she has a very, very sheltered life. She only comes in contact with 2 people, her mom and her nurse. But then a new family moves in next door, and there is a very rebellious, mysterious boy in all black next door, and they fall in love, and stuff happens. I don't want to say too much because spoilers. Then at the end, some stuff happens, and it was so amazing. The ending makes the entire book. I so encourage you all to read this book. Even if you aren't a fan of YA romance books, I think this one is worth it. The last 2 books that I read this summer were Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Obviously, I gave both of them 5 out of 5 stars. I would have given them a billion out of 5 stars if I could, but sadly Goodreads does not do that. I'm listening to these on audiobook when I am driving in my car or getting ready for the day or falling asleep, so that is why I am able to fly through them so quickly, because I'm not even reading, I'm just listening, and because I've read them so many times. So those are all of the books that I read this summer. It seems like a lot when I just sit down and tell them to you all at once, but to me, I know I was in a very major reading slump this summer. I went weeks without reading a single page, so this isn't that great, but I know I will do better now. I am in the right place to read. I am ready to fly through all the books. I'm happy that I'm now back on BookTube so I can share them with all you in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later in my next video. Bye!